Namaskar. A very hearty welcome to everyone and to a very special event with the iconic Srimati Sudha Ragunathan and a young and upcoming, very talented young man, Abby. We are going to be having a conversation about music and the revered tradition of Guru Parampara. I'm so thankful to Srimati Sudha Ragunathan for joining us today. Her music, her philanthropy towards Akshaya Patra, and the joy that she brings to our hearts with her renditions is unparalleled. Also joining us is Abby, a very versatile performer with a huge social media following, a voice and a style that you instantly fall in love with. Guru Parampara goes beyond music, goes beyond performance. It is the grace and the love handed down generation after generation to persistent students who hold the Guru as a conveyor of wisdom, learning, tradition, and discipline. Lifetimes of tapasya in the pursuit of excellence. Let's take a deep breath. Let's do this. Ayurveda says the incoming breath brings in the learnings, brings in life, wisdom, grace, to be in the moment, to be present. The exhale lets go of the old, releasing emotions and thoughts. As a wise man once said, we renew with each breath we take in and die with every breath that we let go. That is the circle of life, as it goes beyond the mind and body to a place of quiet contemplation. The very essence of music, as imparted by a guru, is about regulating the breath, regulating life, and instilling a discipline within the very core of our existence. The balance between what we receive and what we give. See the balance, and the harmony presents itself. Over the past 20 years that Akshaya Patra has engaged with beneficiaries, with children, and served over 3.5 billion meals, our supporters have seen one benefit. They receive more than anything they could possibly give. Time after time, the trust we build in our beneficiaries that a meal will be served in school is matched by the trust our donors, supporters, volunteers, and youth ambassadors have in us and in the work we do. In the year 2000, our founders saw children and dogs fighting over food in the trash and swore that within a radius of 10 kilometers of the temple, no child will go hungry. They started cooking and sending 1,500 meals to school children around the temple. It caught the attention of Mohandas Pai, Sudha Murthy, Narayan Murthy, who encouraged them to devise machines that could cook large quantities of food. Madhu Pandit Dasa, the founder and chairman of Akshaya Patra, is a civil engineer from IIT Mumbai. And he went about designing and modifying existing equipment with frugal innovation to create kitchens that could cook massive amounts and varieties of food. Thus Akshaya Patra was born, a secular organization that has scaled from 1,500 meals per day to now serving 1.8 million meals daily to government school children in 14 states in India. We build and manage 55 centralized kitchens that can cook anywhere between 10,000 to 250,000 meals within a matter of 5 to 6 hours. We cook these meals and deliver them in customized vehicles that reach the school at lunchtime. The food is piping hot at 65 degrees. For 85% of the students who attend our schools, this is the only meal of the day. It is customized to the child's palate. The North Indian meals are roti-based and the South Indian are rice-based. A roti machine can cook anywhere between 10 to 60,000 rotis within an hour. Rice cauldrons can cook up to 500 meals within 15 minutes using steam-based technology. We are climate friendly, utilizing solar power, repurposing water used for washing vegetables to washing our vehicles. 65 quality checks ensure that each of the 1.8 million meals can be traced back to the kitchen, batch and time of cooking, ensuring the food is safe. The Midday Meal Program is a public-private partnership between the Government of India, state governments, and Akshaya Patra Foundation. The government provides 11 cents per child per meal, while we raise another 9 cents to ensure that it's a wholesome, nutritious diet. In all, $20 to feed a child for an entire school year. What would otherwise fall upon a teacher to do, cook meals and teach class, now becomes a welcome relief to parents, teachers, and students that a meal is ensured for everyone. Siblings show up, they bring tiffins, they often take food home for the meal in the evening, and as we always say, it's unlimited food. During the pandemic, school closed 2 weeks early, on March 24th. We always knew children were hungry during the holidays when schools were closed. But the pandemic created an enormous problem. We have heard from parents in survey after survey to open the schools and the students will come. The meal in school is the one stabilizing factor in the child's life, and schools need to reopen safely. So in spite of limited resources available in the midst of a pandemic, when the health of our own kitchen workers was in danger, there were issues with supplies, raw material, labor and distribution. 85 million meals have been served since lockdown began. I thank my lucky stars daily to be a part of this amazing organization. I ride on the shoulders of giants who envisioned that no child would be deprived of an education because of hunger. Unlimited food, unlimited and unconditional love. Your name is Akshaya Patra.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amirta, a proud member of the Akshaya Patra Foundation and the chapter chair for Seattle. Our host for this evening is Sri Siva Shivaraman, and he's a familiar face to you all. He is the president of Western Digital and is a thought leader for developing the next generation of NAND flash memory. Shiva has published numerous technical papers, is a PhD, of course, and a board member for Rensselaer Polytechnical Institute, and is a distinguished alumni of the National Institute of Technology, Trichy. Most importantly, he is the chairman of Akshaya Patra Foundation. Shiva, it's a great honor to have you today to host this event. Thank you.
Amirta, thank you. Thank you for being the enabler for this event today. I appreciate everything that you have done to get us all together.
Thank you so much, Shiva. And the guest for the evening, well, if you're like me, who grew up with Indian classical music, you must be wondering what you will do this year during the December music season. Well, on behalf of Akshaya Patra, I'm beyond excited and honored to present to you the multifaceted, prolific, world's foremost Carnatic vocalist, Sangeeta Kalaniti and Padma Bhushan, Srimati Sudha Ragunathan. Srimati Sudha Ragunathan ji, welcome for this evening.
Thank you, Amrita.
So, Srimati Sudha Ragunathan ji, she calls Chennai her home, but she's a world citizen, with her music echoing in the halls of prestigious music academy, at the United Nations, at the Broadway in New York, thousands of global destinations, and in the hearts of young and old alike. So much so that the city of Louisville in Kentucky declared May 19th, 2019 as Sudha Ragunathan Day. Check out her fun-filled series on YouTube called Expressions Espresso. You will see how she's been reinventing herself to meet her audience in today's remote situation, yet carrying the rich legacy of music. Please welcome once again Srimati Sudha Ragunathan ji.
Namaste, Amrita.
Thank you.
When Amrita said, it's a pleasure for the young and the old alike, I am the old here. I have grown up listening to you over the long time. I have heard you on old cassettes with MLV in the 80s. I have heard you on CDs and DVDs in the 90s and the arts. I now listen to your radio stations on Spotify and Pandora. You have been an inspiration. You have been an inspiration for a whole generation of music aficionados. You have been a presence in the Indian music firmament everywhere. You've been a philanthropist. You've been active in all walks of life in India. You've been helping children with disadvantaged children with health issues. And you have so much that you contribute to with the Expressions Espresso, interesting conversations with Hariharan or Shankar Mahadevan or Vidya Balan. How do you manage to find the time, energy, and the discipline to do all this and also be the singer you are? What's the secret to this formula that you have?
There's only one secret, that I want to do what I can within this space that I call life and the drama between the beginning and the end. I guess it's just the inclination to do different things. I've always been fond of doing different things. And hence, I think it's a natural way of life for me. I don't feel that I'm doing something different. It just happens. So when the lockdown periods began and I realized I was going to be kind of in just one place, my home, for at least 3 or 4 months, I quite didn't expect this extension beyond 4 months. I thought I should give back to the audience that has given me what I have today, this little stature, this comfort, this acknowledgement of my music. And I thought it should have a bit of music, it should have something different beyond music. And that's how Expressions Espresso was born. I just wanted to do one season, just play around, dabble with a different side of myself. But then when I saw that it evinced interest in the audience, and I was enjoying myself, the personalities were enjoying themselves. I was getting to know newer people and making friends at this stage of life. Yes, it was enriching my, friends, I believe, are treasures in life at whatever point you meet them. And this episode business has really helped me meet up a lot of old friends and make new friends.
So Sudhaji, along those same lines, today's event is supposed to be an intimate get-together. There is a lot of your fans who've been eager to meet up with you, listen to you, talk to you as part of this Akshaya Patra series. We'll talk about Akshaya Patra in a little while, the whole purpose of this singular mission of feeding children so that they don't go to school hungry.
Sure.
Get us started with a song of your own, any song, just to get us started in this conversation. I just would love to hear a snippet, a pallavi from you to get it going.
It's so difficult to pick a song when you say a song, because every song is your favorite. And that's why, it has that soul. But I think I would begin with a kriti that my guru loved, because it was dedicated to Lord Krishna. And I think just everyone who listens to it loves it. For its imagery, there are 2 songs actually, and both are Kannada. And MLV was very fond of Purandaradasa, his compositions, and she took it up on herself to propagate his compositions. And thus were born both of these compositions. I'll just sing the Pallavi of both maybe.
Oh, absolutely.
Baro Krishnaiya, Baro Krishnaiya, Ninna Bhaktara Manigiga, Krishnaiya, Baro Krishnaiya, Ninna Bhaktara Manigiga, Krishnaiya, Baro Krishnaiya, Baro Nina Mukhatoro, Nina Saridaro, Jagadara Shilani, Baro Nina Mukhatoro, Nina Saridaro, Jagadara Shilani, Baro Krishnaiya. Hari Smarani Mado Niratara, Hari Smarani Mado Niratara, Paragatige Idu Nidhara, Hari Smarani Mado Niratara, Paragatige Edo Nidhara, Hari Smarani Mado Nirantara. What else? Nirantara, Hari Smarani Mado.
So listening to you, and I can just picture the image of MLV singing, you sitting next to her singing. We are supposed to talk about the Guru Parampara, about you and how your interaction with MLV. You were a very young lady when you got started with her. I'm sure it was tough in those early days to be with MLV going around. Tell me about those early days. What was it like to be with MLV? What did she do that you just could not stand? Oh my God, I have to put up with it. How was it in those early days?
Well, Krishna and Dasa brought me to MLV Amma, and I'm so blessed to have been with her for 13 years. 13 into 365 into 24 is like something that I cannot believe that I did. I was just 19 when I met MLV Amma first. And I think the very first meeting etched an image of the lovely, smiling, affectionate face in my heart. And even today, I just have to close my eyes and I can see her. The moment I say MLV, I become emotional and I can hardly talk. So I have to get out of that as fast as possible if you want me talking in this program. Those days have been days of learning, days of experience, days where I accumulated both music, repertoire, how I would lead life henceforth from then. Yeah, all in all, I think it was a big package of learning. And as you said, it certainly was a challenge, not a small challenge, a big parcel of challenge, because MLV Amma never taught music as such. When you say taught and when you say learning, you really imagine a person sitting on a chair or sitting with you and singing a line, and you would repeat the line. And then you go home, internalize all of that, and get back to the next class having perfected that, and move on towards the latter half of the Kriti, or singing the raga trilination. But in this case, everything had to be done by the student herself. Can you imagine that challenge? It was like doing a PhD. You go to the library, you cram up, you cram for material, content, and you want to finish within a timeline to deliver. So that was what loomed large before me, because I was playing the Tampura first for MLVMA, and then slowly I got promoted to providing vocal support. And she was an artist who never planned her concerts. She would just go to the stage, look at the audience, make an assessment, and deliver. And so how would this student who just got into her space know all the kritis that she was going to sing? That meant that I had to try and learn as many kritis as possible within a year or 6 months by myself. And so I was asking people for cassettes. As you said, 80s had those little tape recorders and cassettes. So I was trying to get all her earlier concerts, look up her books for notations, and just learn everything without asking her, can I learn this kriti in Kamboji? Can I learn this kriti in Sahana, Vegada, Shankarabharanam? Instead of asking her, I would just start to learn everything. Yet the surprise would be there at the concert, because she would just pick up some kriti that she wouldn't have sung for 10 years and just sing it. Ayiram ayiram gopiyargalodu nadam aadi vilayadi varum Ananda Krishna avar ananda. And then I would just, be kind of stumped. But then the training that she gave was such that you would rise to that. When I heard the first line, I would be quiet. And then I would pitch in the second line. And she herself would realize, oh, this girl doesn't know the kriti, so I shouldn't let her down by, giving her the space to sing alone. She was fun. I mean, it was...
She was pretty sophisticated singer. She was not just singing songs. She was so technically extremely advanced. These rare ragas that she comes up with. I remember when I first listened to that song you just had, the Ambujam Krishna song, the first song in that CD was Ganamurti. I mean, it was not an easy raga. It didn't come up. How did you pick up those complicated ragas that she was just coming up with, and none of them were easy?
Not easy at all. She would just sing Sharanam Baba in Hamsa Vinodini,
Yes.
then Yentadi Veena Vintura and Urmika, Sri Chakra Raja and Shiva Shakti. Even ragas like Narayani, Andolika, Malavi, not to go too technical, all these ragas were very new. Takka, Veera Vasantam. These were ragas that were not oft heard. And she would pick up, probably picked up all of those compositions from her guru, Sriji and Sir. And people loved her for her creativity, for her innovation, for her newness, that brand freshness that she brought to every concert. It would be Kalyani.
I'm sorry,
yes, it would be Kalyani, but then each time it would be a different kriti. Viranavaravalichi, Nijadasa Varada, Yetavunara, Kelano Haritalano, Dayamado Ranga. I can just go on. So every kriti would have that MLV stamp and that special
I was
flavor
going
that
with.
you put out.
So GNB had his style. MLV modified it to suit her own. Would you show us what you have done with the classic MLV song that you have done, adapted to yourself? That now is now a Sudhaji's song than an MLV or GNB song.
Well, I haven't changed it very much, but I think the approach and the natural voice that each one of us is endowed with, no two voices are alike. You might try to completely imitate someone, but you wouldn't be close to that. There would be some additional timbre that your voice in particular has. And you would try to, of course, exploit that. And hence, I think I have a lighter shaded voice Now, M.L. Yama's was what you call gatram filled. It's very rich, yet it had that melody. It had that, those little shades which we called valinam melinam. In Tamil we say that. Those are shades where it goes a little darker, where it goes a little lighter, where it goes a little higher, it goes a little lower. So I think I have improvised on that and brought in more emotional dimension to the lyrics when I sing them, whichever language they might be in. Like when I sing, Odi varugayile kannamma 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 odi varugayile. She wouldn't do that. She would say, Odi varugayile kannamma ullam kulirudadi. So you have to feel that, ullam kulirudadi. So when you start to feel your lyrics, I think automatically the different shades in your voice come out. So probably that is one thing I have worked on.
MLB was a larger than life personality. She sang movie songs. She sang at the time post-independence songs that were full of patriotism and all of that. And the movie songs, the early movie songs of hers were just phenomenal songs. Talking of movie songs, where do you fall on the light music thing? What do you like? What genre of music that sort of, when you want to relax, what do you listen to? What kind of male, female singers that you enjoy listening to when you want to completely relax?
Shiva, I must tell you that my range of listening is from Beyonce to just everything. Abby. From Arikudi Ramanjengar, G.N. Sir, Chemangudi Mama, Ramnath Krishnan, Vrindama. It's not that I listen to every one of them every day, but depending on what I want to listen to. Maybe if I'm wanting to listen to a padam, that kind of repose, that kind of vilambit, that peace you want without any embellishment or extra pressure on the voice, then you just have to listen to Vrindama and Muktama. When you want that spark, when you want those crackers going, then you listen to J.N. Sir. His speed is something to reckon with. You can't even believe it's a human voice that is traversing those octaves and producing those notes. Recently, I started listening to Abby as well, because I loved the way he presented Nila Kaide. And that's one song that's very close to me, because it was actually sung by Harini, who is my disciple in a way. Of course, I listened to Shankar Mahadevan and P. Sushilamma, Chitra, SPB Sir, Rahman Sir. So there's no limitation. I don't limit myself. And that the reason being that M.L. Yama always said, keep your heart and mind open to music. Whatever you like, whatever appeals to you, listen to it, latch on to it. Don't ever feel that it's alien to you.
The other day I was listening to you talk to Vidya Balan, and you were starting to sing that Parinita song.
Yeah.
I saw you hum along with her. I would love for you to sing something light for us to just get us going before we move off into more serious stuff.
Ooh. You have Abby to do that.
Now that you told me, maybe I should get Abby on. Should I just go call Abby on to come on?
Of course, yes.
All right, Abby, come on over. We'd love for Sudhaji and you to talk and sing together. Abby, are you there?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can
Hi,
you see
Abby.
me? Hi, Sudhaji, and hi, Mr. Shiva. I couldn't ask for a better introduction, let me tell you. This just completely, I think it made my evening.
See, for those of you who don't know Abby, I'm assuming there's a couple of you out there. Abhi is a absolutely phenomenal singer from Toronto. If you have not seen it already, go see his 73 ragas in 20 minutes or something, where he makes a spoof of the Vogue with his camera movements, and you should just go listen to it just for the sheer pleasure of interacting with a young man singing good Carnatic music. We got to talk with Abhi earlier, and I thought it would be a great idea just to get the conversation going between Sudhaji and Abhi, because I'm sure the younger generation that is coming in and getting all enthusiastic with fusion and other things probably drives those of us old folks up the wall. Sometimes we enjoy it, sometimes we get to see you doing too much fusion. So I want from Sudhaji, when you listen to the young people sing, what do you like and what drives you nuts?
I love the way that they jump into the water and they swim, very successfully. But sometimes I feel, they get so excited that they lose the core flavor that needs to be retained for any song. When you try to improvise, there is a boundary that you need to be cautious about. So when you traverse on that, when you kind of, cross that boundary, it becomes a little tiring. But I guess everyone realizes that only after you swim a little bit, swim some distance. Then you realize, oh yes, this is my comfort zone. This is where I need to really work. And beyond that, you feel, this is where I need to be a little more careful.
What do you think? Just listening to this, just to demonstrate that, hey, I have listened to you, Sudhaji, for a long time. Just sing a song that you think that would make Sudhaji happy.
Oh, absolutely. I think the world knows that I'm a big fan of hers, and who isn't, right? I think anyone who comes into, whether it's Carnatic music or any form of music, I think in India or the Indian diaspora, Sudhaji has been a huge influence in any musical household, I think. So if you want me to start with a song, I think I'll
And Sudhaji, if you just jump in along with him, and it'll be lovely to hear you two go with each other.
That shouldn't limit Abhi.
No, not at all. Come on. I think, you know what, I'd love to do this one song which I've heard Sudhaji sing beautifully. In fact, I think I learned it from one of her recordings. So let me do... கண்டனாள் முதலாய் காதல் பெருகுதடி கண்டனாள் முதலாய் காதல் பெருகுதடி கையினில் வேல் பிடித்த கருணை சிவபாலனை கண்டனாள் முதலாய் காதல் பெருகுதடி கையினில் வேல் பிடித்த கருணை சிவபாலனை கண்டனாள் முதலாய் காதல் பெருகுதடி.
Wow. நீலமயில் தன்னை நெஞ்சமோ மறக்கவில்லை, நீலமயில் தன்னை நெஞ்சமோ மறக்கவில்லை, நேசமோடு அந்த பாசமும் மறக்கவில்லை. Sorry, probably the lyrics are, I'm the worst with lyrics, by the way. But this is a rag that allows so much of innovation, so much of
absolutely
freedom to kind of use the sagama ga re ni sa,
absolutely
just the notes, just singing the notes.
Absolutely. And I'd just like to add, just before what you said, I'd like to add on to that. What Sudhaji said right now was that, there's always, there's boundaries, and there's always, of course, as singers and as musicians, when we're capable of doing something, we want to just keep doing it, and we want to do it in abundance sometimes. But it's very important. And that's when I think, I'm very fortunate to have listened to such luminaries like Sudhaji and my gurus, Srimati Raja Gopalakrishnan, Srimati Ranjini, and Srimati Gayatri. When, take a song like this, for instance, there's that beautiful Sangati. It's a very beautiful Sangati. And the moment I sing it, the audience will be like, wow. But I think initially when I started singing, I would sing it all the time. But then you listen to Sudhaji, and when she sings it, the first time she sings it, it'll be playing. That's it. Second time, or something. And then the final time that she sings it, only once, she'll do it. And, that's a beautiful concept of alavu, I guess, that they say in classical music. That's very, very important. And I think that's what she was, proportion, exactly, right? Just doing it in moderation. And I think that really goes a long way. So I'd just like to add to that point.
Yeah, I think, you know what, M.R. always used to say, that word proportion, alavu, as you said, is so important.
Absolutely.
She would say, don't spend your energy just in the first half of the concert and then go breathless, kind of, not the Shankar breathless, really go
yeah,
without
very
breath or energy towards the end of the concert. She would say, even if you are just warming up in the beginning, it's fine.
Yeah.
But as you move into the center of the concert, it should hold so much energy and verve that the audience just leaps into it. Completely. And they can't think of anything else but the music.
I totally agree. Yes, absolutely.
And those of us who've been fortunate to, Go ahead. Sorry.
Even singing ragam, neraval, swaram, everything she used to say, has a proportion. And if you step on the boundaries of that proportion, it becomes boring.
Sannutanga Srinivasa
Gamani dani vadani sa ni dama gama pagari sa.
Nannu broni kuvarama. Veda Shastra Purana Shri Mahadeva Deva Kapali. Arul Shaya Vendum Maya Arase Muruveya Ni Arul Shaya Vendum Maya Tana Saukya Muda Nerugaga Yurulagu Dani Matagalu Vininta Sagasamela Siddhi Vinayakam Sevegambaram Bhama Mani Janaki.
I think that should do.
We're
That's
ending off with
really very
Madhyamavati,
good.
right?
You guys can keep going, and I can be watching. How fast can I keep up with you in identifying the raga? You know, for us, the folks who are not musically trained, we just have to make these matching connections to go, and then as fast as you guys are making, and then coming up with the sahityam to go with it, unbelievable, amazing. Very well. So we are running out of time. There's a lot of people waiting to ask a lot of questions off of both of you. So I want to make sure we bring it back together. We are hosted today through Akshaya Patra. Akshaya Patra, as we know, has this singular mission of feeding children, and children are so important to all of us. And Sudhaji, you've been in the philanthropic circles, taking care of kids and doing this. What does this idea of food and education in children, what does that mean to you?
I think it's the best thing that you could have done. Akshaya Patra's program, the midday meal program, serving wholesome food every school day to over 1.8 million meals. You know, the number. That really, I can't even imagine a single person doing it. It's easy to finance a program. It's easy to say, yes, I will support the program. It's easy to talk about the program. But to really practically run the program to over 19,000 schools across 14 states in India, I think I need to salute. I need to express our collective appreciation to Akshaya Patra for this wonderful arrangement for this program, because this midday meal program will, by 2025, I believe, reach 5 million children. Free meals, I think, helps children get that good quality of meal, because again, no two children come from the same kind of homes, and the affordability of having nutritious meals becomes challenging to some families, to some children. And when all of this is made uniform, and when we assure them that, you know, this is happening, this is going to happen, I think their focus and the advantage of having nutritious meals filled with, you know, good protein, carbohydrate, whatever needs that the children need, helps them to focus on their studies and work only on that.
So Sudhaji, yesterday the SSLC results came in Karnataka, and there was a whole lot of Akshaya Patra school children graduating, and we saw some interviews. One young girl wants to be a math professor. One young man wants to be an aeronautical engineer. Of course, a few want to be doctors. There's one that says, hey, I'm 17 years old. I don't know what to do, but I'm going to be great when I grow up. It's just heartwarming how impactful the program is. So it is an absolute delight for me to host you both for benefiting Akshaya Patra. I think there's a lot of questions. People really want to intimately ask these questions of you, just like the pleasure I have had of interacting with you. So I'm going to open up the floor for questions now, so that we can have this very knowledgeable audience that's waiting for us to come and have the pleasure of asking Sudhaji and Abby questions on whatever they feel like with respect to music. So thank you both so much, and let's hold off for the audience questions.
Absolutely.
Sure. Look forward to it.
Thank you. This week, this is a sad event that we lost one of our greatest. SP Balasubramaniam, SPBG, SPB sir has been a pillar in our music circles. And I mean, I was 8 or 9 years old when Iron Nilaveva came, and I don't think I can remember a time in my life when I have not listened to an SPB song. To both of you, this is a big loss for the Indian music families. Lot of questions from the audience. Many people are asking, what did SPB mean to you? Tell us, what did you think of SPB? What are you going to miss? And Abhi, I'll let you get started, and then Sudhaji can take over from there.
Absolutely. SPB sir, I think, or as I call him SPB uncle. I've had the pleasure of knowing him. I used to meet him a few times, during his concerts and everything here. Of course, I've grown up with his music. Who hasn't? Anyone with interest to Indian music, he's been a huge influence and huge inspiration, especially for me and my family as a whole. Listening to his songs, usually we talk about, so Guru Parampara, Guru, the Shishya format, it's mostly we associate that with classical music, but of course, there's a lot of things that you can learn from such great artists just by listening to recordings. And I have learned so much from his recordings, let me tell you. Having said that, so it was wonderful just interacting with him a few times, but I'd like to share something just that speaks about the greatness of him as a human being. A couple of months ago, right after my 73 Ragas video release, I received a WhatsApp voice message and a personally handwritten letter. And it said, "Dear Abhi, I've seen your work and everything." And it said some beautiful, very, very encouraging thing. And at the end, it said, "This is S.D. Balasubramanian." And can you imagine, for someone like me who's just starting out, and here's this legend who has not only been the greatest artist himself, but also seen the greatest of artists, with him. What's the need for him to come and encourage and I'm on the other side of the world, if you think about it. For him to do that, what a phenomenal human being. And I think that's what, I wrote in a post yesterday. I think his kindness, his personality will forever be synonymous with the brilliance of his music. And that's what I think is immortal about him.
Sudhaji, you are there in Chennai. You're probably listening to all of this going on. Please tell us what you feel.
I have to really borrow a line from what Abhi said, that SPB sir is a phenomenal human being. I mean, he's such a total human being, not just the music, not just the way he renders his songs, but the person, the humane aspect of him is I think what has brought him that extra edge and that extra adulation from all of us, right across the spectrum, from those who are starting out to sing to people who have been in the industry for over 40, 50 years. It was difficult to even concentrate on anything the last 2 days because, your connect with the person is so strong. Like Abhi said, when I started my string of Expressions Espresso, of course, wouldn't I have asked SPB sir to be a guest in that show? A lot of people have been asking, please bring SPB sir, please bring SPB sir. He was one of the very first for me to ask. And you won't believe it, he sent a very lengthy message on WhatsApp saying, I would love to be in it, but I'm sure you understand that I have sung across languages, and hence, so many people are doing this. Visual media is doing it, all the television houses. If I do it for you, I would have to do it for everyone. And I can't do that because I'm hosting my own show, SPB, Simply SPB. And that happens every day. So do understand, Sudhaji, I hope I have expressed myself well enough for you to understand. And he said, all those blessings You are our country's treasure. Take care of yourself. Please be safe. My best wishes to your family. Just everything in that one message. I don't talk to him every day, and maybe I've seen him once a year, or maybe sometimes not even that. I remember on one occasion at a December concert, he was the chief guest, and he came up after the concert and spoke. I don't even know whether I deserved all of that. That was how much he spoke. So it's
So,
a loss that cannot be replaced. I don't know. I don't even know how to express the loss.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
COVID has taken a lot from all of us. COVID has deprived a lot of people of their livelihood, a lot of people of basic life needs, and now culturally we have lost some of our treasures. Concerts have been difficult, not to have concerts, to have. When you come out of COVID, both of you, when we have the vaccines, when we have the treatments, what do you want to do first? So one of the questions that keep coming up is, can we envision a post-COVID world for music? So what are you guys thinking? What's in your minds?
Go ahead, Abby.
I think one of the first things that I'd love to do is just interact with the audience, because it's wonderful that I have, we all have this social media platform. Can you imagine if COVID? I always tell people, imagine if this had happened like maybe 20 years ago. We wouldn't even have social media to express our music. At least we have that today. But I love just meeting people and just speaking with them after a concert. Taking requests and spending time with other musicians. So I think that's definitely, I certainly miss that, the energy of being with, in that musical environment. That's something that I miss. I think that's definitely what I do first.
No, we've oft heard excuse me. I'm yet to come out of the emotions of SPB, sir. We have always heard this saying, this too will pass. So I guess this situation will also pass, but as you said, with all its encumbrances and all the irreplaceable losses. But I'm sure all of us, just leave aside artists, all of us are waiting for that new normalcy, that new normal environment to come back to us. And yes, of course, I'm waiting to connect with my audience in a live concert, see their bright faces, hear their applause, hear their requests. Somebody shouting from the audience, sing this, sing that. It's just
So you would be surprised, Sudhaji. So you have a live audience here. I've already seen 4 or 5 requests for this, that, or the other. 2 that are coming up are one, hey, can you guys sing something in Hindi, Marathi, something in Abang? There's one that is already asked for. There's one that asked for Taye Yashoda is one of those favorite songs for everybody. Can you guys at least start off on? So your fans are waiting to interact with you. They are there already. The questions are coming back, requests are flowing in. So I just want you to know that the audience is here. They are impatient. They are interacting with you. They are thinking about you all the time.
Thank you. Love you all. And there are only 2 things that we can give you. One is our love and one is our music. And I guess putting both of them together is the ultimate. Of course, I'm going to sing further and leave the Hindi to the expert.
I've heard you sing some beautiful Hindi bhajans as well. So
I sing, but I mean, if given a choice out of these 2,
sure, absolutely. No, Taye Yashoda, even I would pick Taye Yashoda. You sing it brilliantly.
Taye Yashoda Undanayar Kula Tudita Mayan Gopala Krishna Taye Yashoda Undanayar Kula Tudita கிருஷ்ணன் செய்யும் ஜாலத்தை கேளடி தாயே யசோதாமுதன் ஆயர் குல துதித்த மாயன் கோபால கிருஷ்ணன் செய்யும் ஜாலத்தை கேளடி தாயே யசோதா தையலை கேளடி முதல் பையனை போலவே தையலை கேளடி முதல் பையனை போலவே தையலை கேளடி முதல் பையனை போலவே இந்த வையகத்தில் ஒரு பிள்ளை அம்மம்மா நான் கண்டதில்லை தையலை கேளடி முதல் பையனை போலவே இந்த வையகத்தில் ஒரு பிள்ளை அம்மம்மா நான் கண்டதில்லை தாயே யசோதா உடனாய குல துதித்த மாய கோபால கிருஷ்ணன் செய்யும் ஜாலத்தை கேளடி தாயே தாயே That was just a small sample.
Abhi, it's your turn now. Sing Hindi, Marathi, Abhang. Go for it.
Abhang, sure. I think, maybe I'll do an Abhang, which I did one recently, which I think people really liked on YouTube, so I'll sing that one. Abhangs are actually, I see another question here, so I'd like to tie that into this. Someone asked, how did I get into Carnatic music? And I think Abhangs were a beautiful entry point for me, because my gurus, all three of my gurus are from Bombay, Srimati Ranjini Gayatri and Srimati Radhi Gopalakrishnan. So they have this natural, very, interest for Marathi and Hindustani music. And of course, Abhang is a part of that. So that was a huge way for me to get interested into core classical music. So thank them for that. Canada, Pandharita, Canada, Canada, Rasa Pandharita, Canada, Rasa Pandharita, Canada, Rasa Pandharita, Veda nahi kalala, Veda nahi kalala, Anta parayata, Canada, Rasa Pandharita, Canada, Rasa Pandhari, Rasa Pandhari, Rasa Pandharita. Vithala, 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 Ayaba.
Sudhaji, just listening to this, I want to get back to the subject of the Guru Parampara. You have a relatively large diaspora of Sudhaji students around the world. Your disciples, you've been teaching for a long time, and there's a lot of them around the world. What consistent message are you giving to them all in these days and in general about life and people and music?
I feel all gurus are messengers in a way. we need to put across the right message to those who learn from us and students of music generally. And what I learned from my guru, ML was to always be patient, to always be persistent in my riyaz, the practice, to be perseverant, and of course, to take away the fact that I need to learn only what I need to present on stage. She always used to say, your repertoire has to be this much. For you to lift a little out of that big collection in the basket and present it as nuggets in your concert. So, what we present really in a concert is just like looking into a kaleidoscope where you see so many patterns, so many combinations of colors. You just take everything, internalize all of it. And when you sing on a particular day, there's only a very small portion of your entirety that you present. So I think it's been a long journey for me, and there is always a time for every artist to give back in a way that the legacy is passed on, the baton is handed over. And hence, only the last 10 years I have been teaching a little actively, and my disciples have really progressed very fast. I think they've done a lot of homework. I should mention a few of their names at least. Sangeeta Swaminathan, Deepika Vardarajan, Radhika Rajesh, Ramya Srinivasan. Priyanka now is learning from San Jose. There are many more students learning from the US, few from Germany and other places. So I keep telling them that what I teach them is very little. What they need to learn from listening to other artists, from watching people singing. Of course, today with technology at its zenith, I'm sure there's so much available, but you also need to be very careful as to what you listen to and not get influenced by something that is not really your cup of tea. So I tell them to listen, but to filter and take what is best for them. Again, as my guru said, not to imitate or just limit themselves to what I sing. To work on that, because God, I think, gives each one of us a certain kind of voice, a certain kind of timbre in the voice. No two voices are alike, just like no two people are alike. And hence, those particular traits that are very special to your voice, you have to identify that. Of course, the guru's help. But the main onus of doing all of that lies on oneself. I tell them, learn a lot, practice a lot, and don't be in haste to get onto the stage. Because once you start singing, once you start performing, then you're learning, then your practice, everything takes a back seat. I'm talking out of experience. I know there are people who do both. But because I was singing vocal support with my guru and also doing my own concerts, it was very tough for me to give myself time for practice.
So Sudhaji, we are not ready for you to pass the baton yet. So let's keep the baton with yourself for a little bit longer, even as the students are coming up. Abby, I have a question from an 8-year-old kid to you. Abby, did you get stressed while learning to sing? How did you manage to overcome the difficulties in learning?
Well, that's a beautiful question. So I'm so happy to hear that it's from an 8-year-old. So I wish him all the best, him or her, all the best in their musical journey, first of all. Stress, not really when I was learning, because I think Sudhaji would also agree that the learning, adding on to what she said right now, when you're just learning without having to worry about performance and what's coming up and your image and all these other things that once you take it up as a profession, that journey, that time is blissful. When you are, I remember going to my guru's, the class, and sometimes I would have no idea what I'm going to learn. And sometimes I would be like, oh, today I'm going to ask them to teach me this raga or something. So that I can't describe the blissful state that I'm in. But I will tell you at the very beginning, before I started learning seriously, there was that brief moment when I used to listen to, great artists sing, and you always listen to, the best of the best because, as in according to you, so you listen to your favorites. You always want to compare yourselves with, not compare, but you want to sort of that they're your goal and they're your inspiration in a way. So you listen to all these artists sing amazing Kalpana Swaram and Neraval, and you think, and I remember having this conversation with my dad when I was just the beginning of my stage of learning classical music seriously. I said, do you really think I can end up doing Kalpana Swaram and all these things like impromptu like this? Do you really think I have it in me? And my dad said, yeah, I mean, obviously, of course, there's it's definitely going to happen. It's over the course. There's a reason why you learn these things so that it all builds up to whatever it is. So I think there are slight moments of perhaps doubt, and that's very, I think, normal in any student journey, I think. But and I think that's where the point that Sudhaji just made comes in very handy. When you are just learning for the sake of learning, I think it just makes it so much better. If I'm learning a sahana, if I don't have to worry about this kriti that I'm going to be singing, and I'm going to have to sing swaram in after Arayadam or something like that. If I don't have to worry about these things, I learn sahana for the beauty of sahana and nothing else. So then I pick up so much more of that raga. So I would say I think that's a very important point that you brought up. Learn for the sake of learning, and it's just very blissful. There's no stress involved. Let me promise you that.
So Sudhaji, there is a couple of questions along the same lines that I want to combine them. Music is a very creative field. How do you keep yourself sharp? How do you keep honing it? From your first concert to now, what is it, that progression of creativity? What have you done to keep this going?
From my very first concert to this moment, I have always thought I'm a student. That's the first thing that we need to keep reiterating to ourselves. And that really helps to, shall we say, hone ourselves. That honing is a process that just keeps on happening. There's no stop. There's no full stop. Like Abby said, you learn Sahana. Maybe I learned a Vandanamu first. Then I learned Rama, Ikananu Brava, maybe that. Then today, I might learn a Giripai. I would learn a Navavarnam of Dikshitar. The more challenging kritis in the same raga. And hence the journey is like, it just flows like the river. The water keeps flowing. And I don't think we should build our own bridges to stop the water flowing. And only then creativity keeps flowing too. Because if I limit myself and say, yes, I think my 30 years of singing will hold me in good stead. I don't need to practice anymore. I could still decide that. But I would never do that. If given a choice, I would never do that. And I don't think any true artist would stop learning. So even today, and lockdown has been a boon that way. I've learned so much, listened so much. And even yesterday, I was learning a new Dasara Kriti. So,
would you sing it for us to go finish this up? And we are running out of time. Something new that we have none of us have heard from you before.
I haven't even learned it as yet. So it's in the process of, when you say form it, it's like a painting. You start with the outline and then you fill in the colors and then you do the shading. And only then the painting is complete. So I'm now in the scratch stage. I'm just drawing the outline.
We'd love to hear that outline, yes.
Danguriva sarivaya Dangurava sarivaya Dingurana Dangurava sarivaya Dingariva Mandala ke Panduranga मंडल के पांडुरंगा, भूमंडल के पांडुरंगा, ला 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 ला, मंडुराराचा देवय्या देवुंडरिगल तू. It's on these lines. It's very, very kind of folksy, very lilting. And the words are also very cute. You know, like Krishna is dancing to the sound of drums. Dhana, dhana, dhana. All of that comes in. And it finishes with, of course, the mudra of Purandara Vittala.
So, Abby, we are running out of time. And so you get to take us home. Do something for us. And Sudhaji did some beautiful Purandarasa Kriti just to get us going. I would love for you to finish up with something that all of us will keep humming at the end of it.
I think perhaps maybe as a dedication to the legendary Balasubramanian uncle, perhaps a small. I'll try to. I never sing his songs usually because I feel like it's perfection and I can't even attempt it. But just for the sake of the occasion, I think I'll sing one of my favorites of his. Kaveriya kananira pinne yenna unnai mulveliya mullai poova sollu konjam nille ammadiyo needhaan innum siru pillai thangadamma nenjam நீயும் சொன்ன சொல்லி பூந்தேனே நீதானே சொல்லி வைத்தாய் முல்லை நிலாவேவா செல்லதேவா என்னாலும் வானம் நான் என்னை நீதான் பிரிந்தாலும் நினைவாலே அழைத்தேன் நிலாவேவா செல்லதேவா.
I'm just humming with you. Vocal support.
Oh, come on. That's a huge honor for me. But you know how beautifully he sings. I'm not able to sing with so much of a smile today, but that's something I've learned from him. He always sings with a smile. You know, you can feel it even if you don't look at his face. That's something that everyone can learn. And today it's very hard for me to do that, but I'm trying my best because I think it's only fair and justice to his greatness.
So, Sudhaji and Abby, I can keep on going for a long, long time more. We have spent well over an hour on this conversation. You guys have made my day. You've made the day of a lot of people in the audience. We are doing this for a wonderful cause for Akshaya Patra. I truly appreciate the time that you guys both took to be with me today. We'd love to do this more often. I would love to see you both. I would love to see you in the cause, whether in India or here or in Canada. Thank you both. Let me invite Vandana onto the screen. Vandana Tilak is the CEO of Akshaya Patra USA. This was just an absolute pleasure for us. Even as we talk about SPB sir and what he's meant to us. Abby, thank you for putting a smile on our face. Sudhaji, you have always asked profound, deep. It's good to hear the perspective from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudhaji. Would like to say a few words. You are phenomenal, and your divinity just shows. It might be a tiny laptop, but I felt like you were here in our hearts. blessing us with your music, this latest composition that you have. I'm absolutely looking forward to when you're done. It already looks very complete. I loved its folksy nature. I loved the way it is built together, and I'm really looking forward. Thank you so much. When we asked you to join our event, and you heard what we do, and it was an instant yes. And it is the grace that you have brought to this program. We are hearing so much from our audience on these WhatsApp groups and all the people who have shared on Facebook. We're really very, very fortunate. And thank you so much for the opportunity for joining us today. It was a thank you event for everybody today. And I'm so glad that you could join at such an early hour. It's a lot to ask. And you really stepped up to this. Thank you so much. Abby, thank you. Stay blessed, both of you. There is a lot more to come. I was literally fingers crossed, eyes crossed to make sure that you would sing Raja Pandarita, and you did. And usually when you are singing Marathi, the ch and the ts is important to note. And beautiful, beautiful song. I'm a fan of the original one, and
I have to give it to my gurus for that, because they're phenomenal with pronunciation of any kind, all three of them. So I really have to thank them for this and everything that I say.
Yes, and they are. It shows your dedication, shows your love for music, shows you work very hard with every language that you sing in every style that you sing in. Stay blessed, and we look forward to having both of you joining us again with more of your new songs and your performances. Thank you so much. It's a divine opportunity, and we are blessed. Thank you.